I'm Tom Bruckner, and thank you for watching the series on how I build this ramp. Stay tuned for episode 11. I pre-drilled all my holes to the Skatelite. I actually tested out to make sure that the holes went into a joist when I was measuring it. I put a little piece of wood down here, a little strip to hold it in. I'm going to use stainless steel screws. They're more expensive, probably like a lot more expensive, 40% more expensive. But if you ever look at ramps, especially outdoor ramps, you'll see lines. And I know deck screws are for exterior, but they're just coated. And the skateboard going over and over and over again will take off the coating. So that's why I'm using these stainless steel screws. And hopefully they look really cool. Although I would have rather matched the color, but yeah, stainless steel screws. Gonna put it in the boards now. So that was a bit of a comedy of errors. Yesterday I put on the Thompson water seal. It's a little slippery from it, which is annoying. But also, when you bend wood, it has a tendency to favor one bend over the other, and it kind of pulls away. So I was trying to get it. I got it the first time pretty good, and then like, yeah, let me get it a little bit closer to the coping, and that's when it slid out for me, and I tried to do it. So be very careful when you do this. Have a friend. It's a Monday, so all my friends are working. So I'm doing this by myself, and you know, it's it's a challenge, but you can be done by yourself. Um, the water seal is making it very slippery, so should be interesting what happens. And I hope this stuff doesn't affect the skate light. Or I'm going to be scrubbing it with soap and water. I just put this on, the sheet on. There's a couple mistakes I made. In the beginning, I wasn't using the stop on the countersink, and I went too deep in there. It actually broke through. So I'm gonna have to make a hole next to it and maybe putty that in or just leave it as is. It takes away from the prettiness. I will be using a magic eraser to get rid of the pencil marks, but I did get a bunch of footprints on it, and I gotta wipe that off because if that's water seal, that's gonna keep it slippery, especially when it's a little bit humid. The one thing I don't like about stainless steel bolts, stainless steel screws, they're first of all they're not magnetic, so they're a little bit annoying. You can't put them on the drill. And the other thing is that they're kind of weak actually. Stainless steel isn't that strong, so um, you're preventing the rust, but also you don't have that strong a bolt. But it should be fine. I didn't really like how coarse threaded they were, but that was the only option I did have. Coarse threaded tends to keep spinning after you're already screwed in, which makes you think that you missed a joist. I know I didn't, but I also want to show you something else here. See where the other screw is, the other deck screw is? I made sure that I wouldn't hit any screws. When I built the ramp at my friend's house, sometimes we'd hit a screw. So I thought to myself, if I'm going to make these screws all divisible by 6, I need something that won't be divisible by 6, and that's kind of hard. What I ended up finding out was 9.5. 9.5 does not cross over 6 in an 8-foot wide half pipe or a 94-inch wide half pipe because I'm using these irregular sheets. So that actually worked out nice. I didn't hit anything. And I don't anticipate that I'll hit anything over when I do this side. Now I set this here. I could actually move it up now. So I'm going to be able to move this up, and that way I can hold the other sheet in place perfectly. And it does outline the next sheet that I'm going to do, and I drew out the outline. And from there, everything else will be pretty simple. It's just getting those first sheets down and making sure that they're lined up. But I really like the way this goes right up to the coping. I like how it goes right up to the coping. All right. While I was countersinking this, I broke 2 drill bits, so that's going to happen. I realized that when you run them a lot, they get really hot and they're going to become easily breakable. This is just sawdust. Comes right off. I'm going to use some washers for spacers. You know, that's probably enough. If I was doing this in the winter time, I'd probably space them out a little bit more, but it's pretty warm out and it's pretty humid. So I think this is good. I could wiggle it a little bit more just to give that, but you don't want too much of a space, or you're going to get a lot of more noise. So this one should be relatively easy. I just line them up down here. I'll start screwing in from the bottom this time, and I'll work myself up until it drops below the coping. But that's the game plan for this one. I want to show you something that I kind of regret. Conventional wisdom says 1 5/8 put on a Skatelite. I would go at least 2 inches putting the Skatelite on. I think I'm going to return one of the cases that I bought and do 2 inches, but I'm already invested in these 1 5/8. I mean, I already opened up and used it, but I wish I had a little bit more grip. I don't foresee it being a problem, but if it is, I'd rather have a little bit more bite into the wood. Now, it is going into the plywood, so it's not that big of a deal. And since it is pressure treated as it dries, it makes it tighter. But again, in hindsight, I wish I would have went with a little bit longer screw. Well, this looks like this is going to be the second to last episode. So if you've watched thus far, thank you for watching, and enable those notification buttons for that last episode. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And once again, have a great one.